Okay, I actually filmed this already, but I filmed it factual and it was boring, and I realized that this is a cosplay that's not about facts, so we're doing this different. Hello and welcome. I'm Maria from Sew Through Time, and this time we're making a cosplay from the Titanic. We're making Rose's flying dress. This is one of those things I don't think I can overestimate how big of an impact watching the Titanic back in 1997 when it came out had on me as a person. Not only did I get obsessed with the ship and learned everything about it, I still own, I don't even know how many dozens of books I have on the subject. Just too many. Those costumes have been living in my head rent free ever since. I've always wanted them. I want every single one of them, and I'm not the only one, I know. I'm pretty sure most of us wanted at least some of them, if not all of them. And let me know down below if you have a favorite dress or outfit from this movie. And the thing that historical costuming has taught me is that life is kind of too short to not do what you want. Sure, I have occasional events that I'll make a specific outfit for, and I'll wear it to that event. But rarely do I wear a costume or a piece of clothing just for one event. Just if you want the thing, make the thing. And you'll find excuses to wear it if you want to. And I think that goes to learning new skills too. Like, if you don't know how to sew or don't know a specific craft, just do the thing. Especially with fabric, it's just fabric. You can always piecing is period. You can always piece the fabric or make something completely out or different out of it if it went completely wrong. And if it's a small thing and you can't use the fabric for something else and it went completely wrong, then it's just fabric. It's not a huge it's not a waste of your time because you learned something new and valuable from it anyways. So just embrace the chaos, learn the thing, do the thing. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But most of the time, you can make things work out. With this project, I got really frustrated in the beginning because in the movie, when we see Rose both on the deck when she's walking and finding out how there aren't enough lifeboats, and then when she goes into the gym to talk to Jack, and then she just dismisses Jack in the movie, and then when she finally decides to embrace the chaos and not do as she's told, in this outfit, we don't actually see a lot of the outfit itself. And most of the images that I could find where I could see really the skirt details were actually on mannequins, like the dress on mannequins. But I couldn't be 100% sure if it was the same exact outfit that she wore in the movie or if it was like a replica or a thing that was made later to represent that. So I just decided that I'm not even gonna care. I'm gonna make it the way I want to make it. I actually did use historically accurate patterns. I used for the skirt, I used the wearing history pattern that is a reproduction of a pattern from this Titanic era. And then for my jacket cape situation thing, I decided to not even bother doing a sleeve like she has in the movie. I'm just gonna, because she had the baubles, she had the hangy bits. That was very, very much the same as this pattern that was actually published in, I think, February 1912. I just decided to use the pattern as is and not change it to be exactly like the one Rose wears, simply because I thought it evoked the idea of what Rose is wearing well enough, but still, it gives me the versatility of a cape. So I'll actually probably end up using this cape jacket thing for a lot of things outside of the Rose cosplay. And other than that, I had the gloves. They're actually antique gloves that I have, And then I found the scarf it's not exactly like the one she has draped around her arms, but it's very similar. It's the same kind of like piano kind of shawl. And the same goes for her blouse. We see that she has like a lacy blouse thing going on underneath the jacket, but we don't see more than that tiny bit of that slit in the front. So I'm actually going to use an antique. But I guess that's it for my ramblings. If you enjoyed this kind of format where I talk less formally, let me know down in the comments below. Or if you prefer my more like on topic, more like well presented kind of content, let me know that down below too, because I'm kind of experimenting here. And if you enjoy this, please hit that like button because it really does help out in this world and do all the things. And now let's get on to the making. I'm making the skirt as a round length, so without a train. The skirt is made out of one ginormous piece with darts at the sides for shaping. The pattern is chosen by waist size, but because I'm very short-waisted, I actually measured that high waist rather than my actual waist. Then I sew up the center back seam and the darts. Okay, now as for the waistband, this is the original waistband that comes with the pattern, and it has a bunch of these darts and overly complicated things, so we're not doing that. But what I'm doing, since I happen to have this, I have this screw pattern Gilburney skirt waistband, and I've used this many times. I know this works well on my body, so this is what we're going to use. We cut the piece on the fold and fold one long edge's seam allowance onto the inside and press. Fold it lengthwise in the middle of the piece and press. And then fold over the other long end seam allowance to the inner side and press again. Then fold over the short end seam allowance to the inside and press again. Then top stitch the ends and a few millimeters from the fold line. And then we sew 10 boning channels along the length. Then measure and cut your boning to the right length. I'm using zip ties, but synthetic whalebone works just as well. Insert the boning and then top stitch the channels shut. And then sew hooks and eyes to close this waistband belt. On the skirt back, we sew a placket onto the left side. With the seam allowance folded inwards, the skirt waist gets pinned onto the top edge of the waistband belt. And at the back where the skirt waistband is bigger than the inside belt, that section gets stitched and gathered to match that inner waistband belt. And then stitched into place. And then snaps are sewn on for closures. Then the hem is folded up twice with an inch seam allowance and hemmed down. And then the skirt is folded to create the drapery in the way you want it. And a random piece of fabric is added for the bottom drapery. This keeps your petticoat from showing from the parts where your skirt lifts up. And then stitch the draperies in place with a tiny back stitch. And then that drapery bit gets hemmed with an arrow hem. And then lead weights are added to the draperies in the front and the back of the skirt hem. This helps the skirt drape in the desired way. Now onto the jacket, I cut out the pattern pieces for it and draw the pattern piece for the trimming. The main body is made out of a velvet and the 4 collar pieces out of the same fabric as the skirt. I sew the shaping darts at the neckline and the trim onto the bottom edge of the fabric. Then the center back seam gets stitched up and the center back seams of the collar pieces. And with right sides together, the outer edge of the collar gets sewn together. And after turning the collar piece the right way around and folding all the seam allowances onto the inside, the collar gets stitched onto the edge of the jacket. And then all of the edges are hemmed. And that corner where the sleeve turns into the bodice is buttonhole stitched. The embroidery pattern is drawn on using tracing paper. And lastly, I make a sash belt out of 2 lengths of the skirt fabric. And thread-wrapped beads are made for the ends of the cape sleeves and for the belt. And here is the finished look with all the pieces together.